Good morning. Welcome back. Hope you guys had a good weekend here. We're pretty well done with this field cultivator, although when I was watching my video, last video, and then somebody commented on, check the frame for cracks, and you're absolutely right. There are a couple of cracks on the frame on this that we're going to touch up with some welds here this morning, and then we'll get this thing out of here. So that's my plan here this morning. And then Brock got the Gator in here last week on Friday. I don't think he really did anything to it, just got it out in here. We need to go through that. We need to change the oil. We need to clean it up. We need to make sure that's ready to go. And then we have a seeder that we mount in the back of it to seed some clover seed in our wheat, frost seed it, and pretty soon it's going to be time to do that. So that's maybe on the agenda for today. I got a text from the guy that bought our old anhydrous bar. They want to come pick it up today, so hopefully that's going to happen here at some point today. And I went to go pick up my parts for that conveyor on Friday, and they were not at the place where we bought it from. Apparently the salesman has them in his truck, and he'll get them to us when he gets them to us. Great, thanks. That's not helpful, but hopefully those show up today or tomorrow or something, and we can get that motor mounted and get that done, because Phil would like to use it. And what else is going on? We need to get my seed treater out this week, because right over there we've got that dry additive feeder that we need to get mounted up. I need to clean the thing out and just make sure it's all ready to go, because a couple weeks it's going to be time to start treating beans. So anyway, that's the plan. So let's do some welding or checking here. We might have to, we'll see. We might have to get the tractor and pull this thing forward so that we can reach it with the welder a little bit, which means we'll have to get all this other stuff out of the way, but we'll figure that out. So right here is kind of what I'm talking about. They're not terrible. It's not like it's split wide open, but there are some cracks there. Focus, man, come on. Another one over here. Maybe a little one in that corner right there. So the main frame didn't look too bad. I think there are some spots that have already been welded on this in the past. So it is what it is. You know, these plates here have been added at some point, and there are a couple on the other side over there. So we'll check it over real good, but we'll get it fixed up. Okay, I got it hooked up. We pulled it ahead a little bit, so I'm gonna get the welder out here. I went through and found all the spots on the frame and kind of circled them. I think there's 2 on the other side and 4 over here, so 6 total. We're just gonna touch them up. All right, so we're gonna weld up these cracks a little bit. They're kind of some vertical, which is a little difficult to do, but then across the top, it shouldn't be too bad. 6011 rod, because this is what it's made for. Rusty, painted metal.
See, I got yelled at. I want to see what
You did. There. Brush it off. Good as new. Since we got to do a little painting on these welds anyway, I got Brock touching up some of the other spots with the wire wheel, and we'll just throw some spray paint on them. So these spots on these ends here where there was some rust there, and there, we used to have them extensions bolted on there, and that's what made them rust. So we just cleaned them up and painted them. I'm not taking the time to go through and do all of this because that would be extra. I can fold this up under that door and not hit it, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we'll be fine. This one's not that tall. The other one, we wouldn't get unfolded in the shop anyway, but we definitely wouldn't get it unfolded under the door. So, the question becomes, how muddy is the lane back to where we got this from, and can we get it back there without getting everything horribly muddy? Our snow piles have definitely shrunk. Looks like it's just a little muddy here from the snow melt, and we should be okay back there. It's supposed to be in the 60s the next 4 days. You think that'll get rid of those piles completely? It might. You can see we've dried up quite a bit. That is not frozen today. That is actually dry, just a few patches that it's wet on top. If it wasn't going to rain later this week, by the end of the week I might try and plant some soybeans, but it's going to rain, so that's not going to happen. If you're relatively new to the channel, last year I hand planted about 10 feet of row of soybeans on March 17th, 18th, something like that, and just as an experiment to see if they would grow. We had a hard frost the first week of May. I thought for sure they were toast, but they survived. They lived through it. They came up. It was incredible. So if I got the opportunity in the next 2 or 3 weeks to go out and plant 5 acres of soybeans, I'm going to do it. But the ground conditions have to be right, and they're not there yet. It's going to get worse later this week. So what are you going to do? Since we've got a little room in here again, I put that back in here. Hopefully, eventually, we'll get our stuff for that. But it's time to work on the Gator, so I'm going to have Brock power wash here. Let's get this thing all nice and shiny, cleaned up, and then probably this afternoon we'll work on changing the oil and checking everything that we need to check. I put a lot of miles on that thing last year, like 1,500-ish. So we did actually change the oil in the middle of the summer when it got to 1,000 miles. So we really don't technically need to change the oil, but we're going to do it anyway so that it's done, and hopefully we won't have to do it in the middle of the year this year with less irrigation. It shouldn't be so bad, but I did not do any other service work other than just changing the engine oil then, so we need to be a little more thorough right now. He made my floor all muddy again. Getting there. So this weekend, my wife and I were doing a little, well, we're moving out slowly. We are going through one of our storage rooms in our house and trying to get some stuff out. These are just some old boxes of stuff that I had. We've created a little pile back here, some of our Christmas decorations, winter stuff that we don't need at our current house anymore, so that it's a little easier to move here when we're ready to move. So I got some more boxes to put on the pile. Look what I got, guys. So on my new truck video the other day, I had mentioned something about getting some WeatherTechs, and I got like a dozen comments telling me that the WeatherTechs are no good. Buy the Huskies. So I did a little research, and you appear to be correct. You buy the Huskies. So I got a set, just the fronts, but we'll get them put in the new truck here. There, those will work. They were nice, other than that they cover up my logo, but that's all right. Okay, so I got a text from the guy picking up the anhydrous bar. They are on their way. It was quite a while ago, actually. Should be here fairly soon. So we're gonna come back here, make sure we've got everything moved out of the way and that it is accessible. Dad's getting rid of some sawdust wood shavings from his planer. I think he had about 6 boxes or 6 bags of them. We're gonna go ahead and set this thing outside for them. So I'm hooking onto it. We're gonna move it around here a little bit. Okay, there it sits, ready to go. Well, there it goes. Red tractor on the farm again. Okay, well, that bar is gone. They came and got a box of all of our spare parts and used stuff that we had laid in the parts bin, so we got to clean out a little bit in there. Also a good thing. Now I'm going to lunch. Okay, I got Brock working on getting ready to change oil in that Gator and digging some more stuff out. I am going to take this tractor and that trailer and, excuse me, I got some cardboard and boxes and stuff that needs burnt down in my seed warehouse, so I'm going to go load that up on here because Dad was hauling stuff back to the woods. Oh yeah, my wife and I came out here on Saturday, moved some stakes around a little bit, put up a string line just to kind of get an idea a little closer where the house is going to go. I don't know if we're still quite not quite where we want it, but we're getting there. Look, we've got dust. It's the first time we've had dust in quite a while. Do you think by Wednesday the wet spots will be dried up enough that I can run the field cultivator across a few acres and plant some beans? Maybe. Just maybe. All right, so Brock's got the Gator all cleaned up relatively well here. A lot better than it was, and it was dirty. If you guys remember what I used this thing for last year, it was running through the irrigation field where we had all kinds of mud and just nasty stuff. So it was dirty. We are changing oil. We've got that draining underneath. We're working on changing this fuel filter here. This is the new one. The old one is right down in here, and these ends suck. And I broke one of them last year. Brock just broke the other one because that's what happens. So we're going to just cut this clamp off, take it off. And what I did last year was just used a, can you see it? You can't see it. Hold on. Down there, I just used a hosed clamp and clamped the fuel line onto the ends of the filter. So we're just going to do that on this end here. There's the new filter. And then we've got an air filter somewhere that's under the seat there. We've got to change that. I got the windows all washed off and clean. I bought some John Deere polycarbonate window cleaner because you're not supposed to use Windex on polycarbonate windows. So actually it worked pretty good. I'm impressed. But anyway, we'll get this thing all put back together and ready to go. I did just get an email from the conveyor salesman. Said he will be here within an hour with my box parts. So then we can mount a motor up there hopefully today. Maybe. Look what we got. Belts, some electrical fittings, and a pulley. Now, this pulley happens to be exactly the same, just shinier, than the one that's already on our motor. So we're just gonna leave that and use the one that we've got. We're gonna get this mounted up here. Really, I guess all we were waiting for was the belts, but I didn't know exactly to make sure that that was going to be the same size. The size of the pulley will affect the speed of the belt once everything's in, so that's why we had to make sure that we get it right. But we are. So let's go ahead and get that motor up there, I guess. I know that our holes do not line up with what's in the plate, so we're going to have to get a little creative here. Here it comes. Watch yourself. Push that thing over here. Down. Down. So, how are we going to do this?
Do you drill into the motor to make them line up?
Can't drill into the motor. You're gonna have to drill the plate. I don't think that makes the most sense, rather than trying to build something and lifting the whole thing up, because then our belts and everything won't line up quite right.
Well,
so
work on there.
We need some bolts to put in these holes to make sure we're lined up with one side.
What side are we gonna drill?
Well, we're gonna drill this side, I think.
You wanna put them belts on just to see which side we need to line up, the front or the back?
Yeah, we can, but we
because
need
there's no idler.
We need some bolts here. Well, it slides. Definitely.
Well, Or why don't we line it up with put this back here, and that'll take a lot of this out. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
Don't take this much of it out.
do we have room to drill? I guess we do.
Oh yeah, there's this much.
That seems dangerous.
Doesn't matter what. Hopping. Oh yeah. Now it's even for the motor.
Center. Okay. Can you tell this way
If I get behind it.
or under it or something? Just kind of eyeball it. Okay, see anything? Not even a little bit. How about if I move you back there? Trying to make sure we've got it in and out so that the belts are straight. Okay, so this is all the way towards me. Give me that marker.
Come my way just a little bit.
That's all the way the other way.
Can you come back by half minute? Keep going. Keep going. Right there.
Okay, so
That's from the highest point of where I can get on. Because it's 2 1/4 to the one edge of the belt down there. And from up here.
Make sure he does a good job.
Go in the center.
Not in the dot, in the center of where I want it.
Do you want it on the dot where you put the?
No, I got it. Put the drill bit in the punch.
Matter of fact, I know I need a new battery.
Oh. Okay. We had to trade in the Craftsman for the Milwaukee. Yep, saw that coming.
I'll break your wrist.
Yep. Okay, motor's up there. We'll let Brock get the bolts tight. We're done with that. Now all we got to do is make those wires connect to the wires in there, and away it goes. Actually, I think we got to change the end on the other end as well, the plug. Well, that looks like fun. Hopefully this motor runs. Appears we have a bit of a nest problem in there. Should have taken that off while it was on the ground. Oh well. Well, other than a little corrosion, I don't see anything that's bad. I don't see any wires chewed up or anything, so we're gonna go with the assumption that this runs and hook everything up, and then if it doesn't, well, we'll see what we got to do. Okay, well, I think I've got everything wired up here. The wiring diagram, she's gone, so I had to look it up online. I'm pretty sure I figured it out, and was relatively straightforward. So you connect different ones of these white wires together with the power leads coming in order to change the rotation of the motor. So I've got it hooked up, which I believe is the right way. We're going to test it before we put the belts on just to make sure. And I did manage to strip off a ground screw, break it off, so we had to move over to here, but got that one to go in and tighten up, and I believe everything is good here. I might also tape up my wire nuts just to be sure. But what I want to do is put a plug on the other end down there that is one that we can actually use. I've got one over there, and then we can plug it in and test this thing. Phil's loading wheat out, and he's using the auger that we're trying to replace with this conveyor, so yeah, there's that. So this wagon is leftover seed wheat. We're just getting rid of it because we didn't need it. But yeah, this is the auger that we're replacing. From what I understand, it is about a 1980, 82-ish model. One of our landlords down to Berkey actually bought it, and I don't know if we bought it from him or somehow acquired it. And it's been fine. It works good with these bins here where we can just put it underneath the unloads and load right into the trucks, but it's wore out. I'll show you the flighting when he's done here and why we're replacing it. I need this power cord. That's why we're waiting. Okay, so we got our wiring done up there. I got my cord brought in here, and I did change the end on this to make it an L630P, which will plug in where I powered my press over there. The problem is that this cord was a L530P, which is not the right end for this. 530P is for 125 volt 30 amp, and we need 230 volt 30 amp, which is the 6. But all of our plugs on the grain bins out there where we just were are the 530P plugs. We'll have to change those. And I don't have another one of the 630Ps right now. So what I did was take the plug end off of the cord there, and I put it on the conveyor, and I still got the 530 on here. So we can plug those two together. We can plug the 630 in there. Everything will work. When I get them, I will put the right plugs on here, and then we'll have to change the ones out there, and everything will be correct. It's really not that big of a deal. The difference is that one of the pins has an L in it, and it L's the opposite direction. It's so you don't mix them up and get things confused. But we don't have anything on this farm that is 125 volt 30 amp plugs. They're all wired as 230, and so it's not gonna hurt anything. It's just not quite right. Okay, so I got everything plugged in. We're gonna do a dry fire test with no belts on, see if our motor works. And it does. Are we spinning the right direction? It would appear so. Okay, so now we can shut that off, put the belts on, get them tightened up, and try again. Yep, definitely spinning the right direction. Okay, awesome. Belts are on. I got them fairly tight. I think that's okay. You tighten this, basically the whole motor mount slides on these rails, and you use this bolt to push it, and then once you get it, you lock this nut against this one, and it holds it in place. So we've got to put a guard on there yet, but I think we're going to run it like it is, make sure everything's working right. Moment of truth. There it goes. You'll be able to see the splice when it goes by. Right there it was. Okay, so now the belt speed is sort of important here, and there's a way to tell how fast it's going. Basically, we're going to count them splices and time it. And you want the belt speed to be 550 feet per minute. And we know that the belt is 66 feet long, so we can do some math from there to tell us that that should make 8.3 revolutions per minute. So I'm going to time it and count them, and we'll see how close we are. Okay, well, in just over a minute, it did 10. So it's maybe moving a little bit fast. The way that you can adjust that is just through the pulleys, changing the size of the pulleys up there. I'm gonna do a little research, but I think we're gonna leave it and see how it works. And if we have trouble, then we can worry about it. But I don't think a little fast is gonna hurt anything. May get us a little more capacity even. I don't know, we'll see. I'm also gonna climb up here, put a little grease in this motor. It doesn't take much, but I want to do it with it running. Just a couple of shots on each side. And I'm using the lithium grease that I use in the grain cart because I don't think the polyurea is the right stuff. All right, Dad just brought this in. This is what we were digging out earlier. Brock got that out for Dad. He's using that to go around and cut up some trees and brush along the edge of some of the fields. Things that have fallen into the fields over the winter, that kind of stuff. So we need to service that at some point, but I don't know if it's going to happen right now. We'll see. I do have a, like I said, a seeder for spreading that clover seed that we're going to mount in the back of the Gator here. So we've got to get that out and do it. It's up on top of the kiln room in the back. We're done with this conveyor, so it can go out of here and put in storage for right now. I will need it first for doing some seed stuff down there, I assume. But yeah, that'll work good. And then what else? Oh, tomorrow I'm going to get my treater out and clean that up tomorrow afternoon. That's my plan. So at least do the outside portion of it. We'll bring it in the shop and get that dry additive feeder mounted up and all that good stuff. So I have a meeting tomorrow morning, so it's going to be a little bit late before I get here, probably in the afternoon, and we'll go from there. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have any questions and comments, leave them down below. See you tomorrow.